Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Physics 20, Vectors number 4, Horizontal Motion, Part 1. Part 2. Now, a watermelon is thrown from the top of a watermelon tree with a horizontal velocity of 18 meters a second. If the watermelon hits the ground 55 meters from the base of the tree, how tall is the tree? And yes, watermelons don't grow in trees. They grow in bushes on the ground, but whatever. And I've got my vector arrows again. I'm getting old. Anyway, so drawing a picture, making a list of everything I know. Whee, splat. So velocity in the x is 18 meters a second. Displacement is 55 meters. What else do I know? Well, the initial in the y is 0. Acceleration is g minus 9.81 meters per second squared. And we're going, how tall is the tree? Horizontal velocity. Okay, so we want dy, the height of the tree. So how do I solve for that? Well, to solve for dy, I need either time in the y or velocity y in the final. I need one more bit of information. I can't come up with time in the y, but I can come up with time in the x. Because vx is dx over t, or time is displacement in the x divided by velocity in the x. So that is 55 meters divided by 18 meters a second. Oh, you poopy head, stop that. 3.06. Now I'm going to be using that in another calculation, so I'm not going to round off. Yes, I should be going to 3.1, but I feel like using it not. So my time is 3.06 seconds. So what's my displacement in the y? Well, notice I don't have, and I'm not looking for Vy final. So I'm looking, so which formula does not have V final in it? Yes, displacement, the initial t is 1/2 at squared, and put in my vector arrows, plus initial 0. So displacement in the y is 1/2 minus 9.81 meters per second squared times 3.06 seconds squared. Now, please, 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 please do not put 3.06, particularly when you've got 3.055555, the correct answer. So 0.5 times 9.81 times my answer squared. Now notice I forgot to put in the negative sign. It's minus 45.8 meters. Okay? See how that goes? Okay, now not so bad. Now just double checking, that's the only thing we had to, how tall is the tree? Well, the watermelon fell 45.8 meters, so height of the tree is 45.8 meters. Okay? Now, last question. You are a stunt driver in a movie. You drive the car off of a tall car parked at 15 meters per second. If it takes you 3.5 seconds to hit the ground, what's your final total velocity? Notice the wording, final total. We'll get to that in a minute. First things first, pick up what you need, what you can from the question. 15 meters a second, 3.5 seconds to fall. What's your total velocity? So, draw a picture. There you are, splat. So, you drive off at 15 meters a second. 3.5 seconds. Now, filling in for the y, you know your initial is 0. Why do I keep forgetting those vector arrows? Anyway. Time's not a vector. Time 3.5 seconds. So, velocity y final is pretty easy to solve. We don't need displacement, so that is the initial in the y. Oh, v final, sorry. V final equals v initial plus at. Now v initial is 0. So velocity final in the y is minus 9.81 meters per second squared times 3.5 seconds. Now, 9.81 times 3.5 is 34.3. And put that down. Now, so far so good? Now, notice that is not the question. The question we're answering is, what's the total velocity? So here you have to go, oh, wait a minute, we have velocity in the x of 15 meters a second. The velocity looks 34.3. Yes. We want the resultant. Now here, technically, we're supposed to ask for an angle, but we never do because we're this far above the ground and we're going splat into the ground. All right? So the resultant, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or 15 squared plus 34.3 squared equals the resultant squared. Now somebody's pointing out I should be going at minus 34.3 in brackets squared. Now, to do that, and you notice I always chunk it. That's 225. And I'm supposed to write out my units. Now, please, in the name of God, if you include the minus sign, you have to include the brackets. Negative, close bracket, squared. Otherwise, you square the 34 and you don't square the negative sign. 178.9 meters squared per second squared equals the resultant.
Please excuse this interruption.
So the resultant, which is velocity final, or velocity total, depending how you want to label it, is, oh sorry, getting ahead of myself. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. The resultant squared is this number plus 225, 1403. Second square root, second answer is 37.5. And the answer is that away. As I said, we could come up with an angle, but we are like a millisecond from smacking into the ground, so we don't care about the angle. It's just going to make a dent in the ground. Now, that's it for horizontal projectile motion. If you've got any questions, shoot me an email. Otherwise, congratulations. Go do your homework.